So prepare for some rambles and some weird tangents and stuff. But one thing we did watch that I know at least Dean and I watched, and that is Overlord Season 4. Episode 1 has a dub. It is...
One episode.
I think the sub is 2 or 3 in. But yeah, it's 1 episode dub. Obviously, we didn't get a lot because it's the first episode of the season. But the only thing I noted, other than Ainz' new swag, was Albedo still wants to be with Bone Daddy.
Man, she was thirsty for it.
She is big thirsty for bones.
Yeah, she wants the bone.
All about that life. I did like that. Was it Aura, the cross-dressing one, was like
the Dark Elf twins?
Yeah, the lady, one of them, was like kind of poking fun at her because she knows that she's really trying to get with Ainz and can't do it. I thought that was amusing.
I really liked that episode. It was more, I don't know, because it's like I really like the characters in the show, and it was a lot of interaction between them, and it's, you know, obviously more setting up for like there's a holy war eventually happening. So it's like setting up the kingdom because he took over the capital. But like I think Sevi did the same thing, but it was like Monday last week. So I started watching season 3 because I was in the middle of rewatching Overlord anyway, and like I watched like the first 2 seasons like a month ago. Whenever I was reading the book, the audiobook, and then like I would listen to the audiobook at work, and then I'd come home and watch a few episodes and kind of like just get a better feel for like what the difference is between the source material and the show, because there's a whole lot more stuff in the book, which makes me just appreciate the actual like source, the light novel. It makes me appreciate it even more, and it's nice to have it in audiobook form because I really like Chris Guerrero. I like Ainz' voice actor, and being able to hear more of that is like, it's awesome, like fangirling.
Yeah, it is pretty unique to have that. It like I
get
think
more
I
of
did check.
Ainz.
Yeah, it's like I can't think of a lot of other mediums that do that. That's like actually kind of an addition, more so to the like actual watching experience, because it's the same like, voice actors you get.
It's like I love the show so much, and now I get the show obviously in like audio form, but I get everything around it, and like more in-depth detail to things that are happening. Not so much in this in the 4th book that I'm reading, because it's all Lizardmen, and man, let me tell you, like I'm at the point now where it's going to be the duel between Cocytus. So like they had the Lizard War, and then the Lizard Sex was happening, and then it's just now like getting to the point where Cocytus is going to Ainz for his punishment, which is going to tell him, it's like, yeah, you have to fight him yourself and all that. But that's the chapter that I stopped on. But holy shit, it's like 6 chapters in.
Cool.
Those 6 chapters of just nothing. I mean, there's a couple parts where it's like Ainz and talking about things that are happening, and then there's like some little parts in the Slain Theocracy, just a little bit of stuff that's sprinkled in there, but it's mostly lizard people. And it's about like, you know, the fishing and the economy and the war that happened that you don't see because it was in the past, and the tribe splitting up. And I mean, I like Zaryusu Shasha, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah,
I like him, so like it's okay. And I like Rororo, which is the Hydra pet that he has.
Yeah.
And man, okay, listen, like they were in detail about him almost dying, like when they were fighting the Elder Lich at the end.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is making me feel for a fucking Hydra, bro. Like, because it's like he was like, Hydras normally have like 8 to 12 heads or something like that, and he only had 4, so he was abandoned in the nest. And then the lizard Zaryusu raised him, and he was like, it's like Rororo always wondered like why he looked so different from his parents, because they were lizard men. He's like, maybe maybe eventually I'll get older and then stand on 2 legs. And I was just like, man, are you making me have feels
Are you making me feel for this fucking Hydra?
for this fucking Hydra? And like he's charging it down, and the Elder Lich is just blasting it with fireballs, and it's like he feels his flesh burning, and it's like
Ooh.
going in detail about. I was like, dude, this is horrifying. I
Yeah.
was like I wish I didn't care about this fucking giant Hydra, but I do.
Books. They're
It's like,
magic.
you know, you spend 4 hours listening to Lizardman. I only got attached to the fucking pet.
I mean, it's better than nothing at all, I guess. But
I
yeah,
guess.
that's a rough.
But overall, it's like, man, get some other shit going on.
Yeah. I'd imagine you're ready for some non-lizard based antics.
Yeah, because I think there's 4 hours left of the book, so hopefully it ends in the next hour.
Yeah, that's a lot of lizard. That's a lot of lizard.
I'm excited to get to because since I binge watched in an entire day season 3, because I got home from work and I was like, well, I'm gonna start season 3 before I start the first episode of season 4. It says I started season 3, watched all of it, and it was like 9 something, and I started episode 1 of season 4. So I binged all of it in a day, and I'm excited to get to the when they invade Nazarick.
Mm.
I'm excited to hear that in the books, because then they get teleported to different like guardians and stuff.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
It's just Ainz murdering people.
Yeah, you get the real big heel turn there. I guess
It's
really
the part.
that big,
It's the part where like the weird part of the fandom's like, why is he just killing these people? I was like, bro, because he's an overlord.
because he's kind of a bad guy.
Yeah, like he's not a good guy. Like I don't know what you want.
Yeah. I did like that they did include it's not really a callback, but Ainz is still very set in like, if someone else exists in this world, if I get the name of Nazarick out there, they'll come find me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get it, bro, but you've seen one player that was a dragon like fucking 3 seasons ago.
He hasn't even shown up in the books yet.
The dragon?
Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's not in the books yet. Like, where the fuck is that scene?
I wonder if that just like that's an anime original thing that they didn't reorder or something. So it's not gonna happen in the books or something.
Like, obviously the books aren't done, and I don't know how far they've gone, and I haven't read past the 5th one. But like, I have a theory of like what's going on. Like, I think he still might be the only player like ever transported, because in the beginning they talk about how there's 9 worlds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking maybe the dragon stuff, maybe he was transported, maybe Ainz was and Nazarick was transported to another world. Like, they're not in Yggdrasil, obviously.
Yeah.
But maybe it's another world in that realm, you know? Because it says there's like 9 worlds, and he listed them all off, and it's basically like the worlds in the Nordic religion, mythology. So, and maybe that dragon knows of Yggdrasil, of another world. So maybe he's not even a player character. Like,
yeah, maybe.
And they did explain, like, they're like, oh, over the mountains there's like people that still have like dragon blood in them. So maybe that's what he is a character, that he's a person that can, either he's a dragon that can take the form of a person, because obviously he wore armor in a fight, because it showed a flashback where he fought Shaltir.
Yeah,
it was like a quick flash, and like that's why his armor, so he got beat or whatever. But so like maybe he's a dragon that can transform into a human, or opposite. I don't know. But no, it hasn't shown up in the books yet, and I'm getting really irritated.
Yeah, it does kind of make me wonder.
I don't want to Google it.
yeah, you don't want to look it up, but it does make me curious as to whether or not any other players exist.
Yeah, it'd be funny if like there's just no other players, and it's just it's like you're from Yggdrasil, which is another world instead of an actual game. So I don't know.
Overlord, it exists and it's doing things.
But then there's that stupid bitch that has the fucking Rubik's Cube, and they're like, yeah, this is from like the Elder, this is like 200 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, the fuck. Who knows? I'm not. I know Sevi's really interested in that, but I'm not.
Yeah. I mean, that is kind of one of the things that, Overlord does really well is anytime it tries to do like a trope or a different storyline or something that's not typical for an isekai like this, it does it pretty well. Like, I don't think I've seen anything that I'm like, this show just isn't hitting this spot really well.
Right.
Like, everything they've done, whether it's like regular ass boring human characters or interesting human characters or any of the Nazariq or any of that, all of it works pretty well.
Yeah.
Overlord.
Overlord.
10.
Yeah, pretty good. Really liking it. Do like his swag, his red robes with the jewels.
He's looking pretty good. He's
For some reason
still a big skeleton, but
yeah, it's so funny whenever he's wearing something else. Because when he wears his fucking god tier robes, he looks so wide. I'm like, what is? I just want to know what is he wearing?
Yeah,
because the shoulder pads of that thing is like 6 feet long.
Yeah, I just like to think that like there's a hanger inside the robes that he has to wear with it so that it sits upright.
Because he's not a big skeleton; he's a regular skinny. I mean, he's really tall, but like he's a skeleton, so he's not wide.
Yeah,
because he wears other outfits, and he's just like you see him in the bath, and he's just a skeleton.
Yeah, and like when he's got the like just regular ass like robe, not like a fancy cloak, but like an actual just like leisure robe.
It's like not that wide.
Yeah, it's just like he looks like a regular skeleton. But
rewatching I can't remember if I texted you or if I texted Sevi, and I was rewatching season 3, and it was to the goat part with the really bad CG.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, this is still fucking terrible.
Yeah, that was probably Sevi, but I agree. It's fucking awful.
It started with the Goblin Army. That's when it started with the really bad CG.
I think the Goblin Army looks passable for the most part. Like, it's not great, but
when she blew it into it a second time, and they had like the riders and the mages and stuff.
Yeah,
but that's when it started. Like, oh, that's a lot of CG.
Yeah,
and then it got to that battle, and like all the soldiers are CG, and then they do the big goat, fucking 4 of them, and they're all CG, and it just looks really weird. Because I think it's because the landscape was not CG; it was flat, and it just looked really weird. It looked like some weird Photoshop.
Yeah, it didn't look great. It looked pretty rough.